I'm going to talk for as long as my battery allows it. Don't mind the state. I've literally just got out the bath. I've not even brushed my hair, put my makeup on or anything, but I thought I would come and sit and tell you what's been going on. It's been absolutely crazy. Oh, Binky's barking. So, where do I start this? Okay, so the last video, as you know, I had secured a property in the UK. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. I'm having a cup of coffee. Maybe get yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee because, yeah, this is a long one. So I think I told you that I went away in May to have a look at properties in the UK. I'd already secured a renter for this house. So that was back in April. Somebody was looking on one of the public forums and I said, private message me, and I said, you know, my house will be coming up to rent. I'm looking to leave in July time. And we started speaking and yeah, it seemed pretty great. It was a family of doctors, they had their children and a grandma that was going to move in and everything was okay. I went away in May to have a look at properties. Obviously the man or the family that were going to rent this were very eager to get everything going, but I had to go and secure my own property in the UK. You know, I can't let this out unless I've got a property in the UK. It just can't be done. So I kept him updated, went away, come back and said that I'd had a bit of a problem, that I was viewing 5 properties and 3 had gone. So I viewed 2 and I was waiting to hear back. And he sent me a message and said, well, I'm kind of getting a little bit worried and frustrated because I wanted to sign the lease by the 4th of May. Instantly my back went up and I was like, one, a lease is normally signed a month before you move in. I've been doing this for 13 years. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I kind of, you know, I know how things go. You normally sign a month before you move in. I said, and you knew I wasn't going away until the 12th of May to have a look for properties. So why would I sign my home over on the 4th of May when I haven't even secured a property myself? So it left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not going to lie, it did. I could see entitlement. That's what I could see. So as I've told you before, I then put a post on a public forum in the area that I was looking for, and a man had contacted me and said that his house was going up for rent. He sent me all the details. I did a little bit of research on it. It was, you know, it is his house, it's legit, blah, blah, blah. I was in contact with the family that were going to rent this house. I sent him a message and I said, could you send me your email address? And he was very uppity straight away and he was like, well, I sent you my email address 2 months ago. I said, I know that. I need to prove that the person I'm messaging on social media is the same person that sent me the references. So can you just confirm here on your email address so I can prove that it's the 2? I got a bit of a, my knee just clicks. I got a bit of a snotty message back saying, well, yeah, I'll send you it, but if this isn't sorted within the next week, I'm going to have to start looking for somewhere else. I have to put my family first, this, that, and the other. Totally understandable, but my attitude is, then do that. I haven't advertised my property. You know, I've kept you in the loop. I cannot physically sign my house over until I've got somewhere secured myself and me and my children. That would be stupid to leave myself homeless. Go ahead, you know, and I'll advertise and I'll put the house up for rent. We just kind of left it at that point. So the gentleman with the property in the UK came back. He said he'd done all his checks. I'm going to go into that part in a minute. I messaged the family that were going to move here and I said, right, I'll be honest, everything's going ahead. I'm not backing out. I'm securing the property in the UK. However, the way you've kind of acted has left a bad taste in my mouth. I said, I don't do problematic tenants in any way, so I'm willing to give this a go, but it will have it in the contract that unless it's essential maintenance or emergency maintenance to do with the property, that, you know, we leave each other alone basically. You live in the home, you make it your home. Basically, what I was saying is, if you're going to be entitled and messaging me going, oh, a screw's loose, or oh, the toilet seat's wobbly, things that you can fix yourself. I had that inkling he was going to be very entitled. There's going to be a clause that this contract can come to an end if I feel like you're constantly on me over things that you don't need to be. So that got his back up. And then he messaged me and was like, I don't feel like you respect me. We are a family of doctors. I don't care if you're King Charles himself, mate. I don't care. We've got a government worker over here that has just been done for being thousands of pounds in arrears, living like a slob, ditching places. I don't care who you are or what you do. It's how you're going to treat my property while I'm not here. Just because you're a doctor doesn't mean that... doesn't mean nothing. It means nothing. Sorry, I had to fiddle with the angle. And hello, Binky. Come say hello. Say hello, Binky. Say hello, Binky. That was a no-go. So then I was advertising this property, had loads of weird and wonderfuls asking. I managed to whittle it down to 3 people. Shortlisted to 3 people that were all ready to move. Binky, were all ready to move around the same time as me. So I'd messaged the gentleman across and I said, look, you know, there's a little bit of a delay. And he said, the later the better for us. You know, come as late as you can because there's bits in a bathroom that need doing and this, that and the other. I then was in contact with him. So this is part 2 about the property in the UK. It's been so much stress. I don't know how I've done it. So the guy across in the UK, he sent me a link through his management company and to do all these checks, this, that and the other. And he came back to me and said, first of all, it was, can you pay 6 months up front? We discussed it and I couldn't pay the full 6 months up front, but we decided on quite a large amount, which was £6,000. I was going to pay £6,000 up front. However, he wanted it to be the first month's rent and the deposit was £4,200. Right, so alarm bells started ringing a little bit for me. I'm like, why would you want to keep £4,200 of my money? It was slim pickings. I'd got nowhere else. I've got the dogs, this, that and the other. I just said, okay. So we'd agreed on that. I'd done quite a bit of research on him. And then I decided to search the management company and it was a limited company. However, it was dormant. And this guy's saying to me that he's got other properties. So why would you have a management company under your own name and it be dormant? So I was like, a little bit of a red flag. You know, I'm going to do my due diligence before. I'm going to do my due diligence. I can't say that word. Before I'm going to hand over any money type of thing. And because I hadn't seen the property as well. So I got in touch with him a couple of weeks later and I said, you know, I've got a short list of people now. It will probably be first to second week in August before we can move. He said, that's absolutely fine. I said, but can you do a FaceTime video or Skype video with me showing me around the house because I need to make sure it's legit. And can you also send me a copy of the contract because I want to see who I'm paying. I want to know what management company I'm paying because I'm obviously not going to be paying into a dormant company, which he didn't know that I'd checked, but I had. But, you know, I want to see who I'm going to be paying before sending such a large amount of money. I need to make sure that the property is there, it's secure, it's real, who this management company is I'm paying and, you know, go through the contract myself and make sure that there was no clauses and things like that. So he said, yeah, that's fine, I'll sort that out for you. So fast forward to last week where I uploaded the video, and I uploaded that video knowing this information, but I wanted you to follow the story type of thing of what's been going on. It's last week, it's pretty much 3 weeks before we're due to move, and I'd been on at him saying, listen, you know, I haven't heard anything from your management company. And he said, I've changed management companies. They're going to be in touch with you and take it over from here. I said, right, okay. But I thought, you've already done all the checks. We've already come to an agreement. I'm literally just waiting for the tenancy agreement to land in my inbox and let's get the ball rolling. I'd shortlisted 3 people and a lady had flown over from the UK. She'd already done a video viewing with me because obviously she lives in London. Very, very keen, loved the property. She said, can I fly over and have a look and familiarise myself with the area? I said, that's absolutely fine. So she was coming over last Wednesday? Or the Wednesday before, anyway, recently. She was coming over to have a look at the property. She came, she had a look. She was like, I love it, I want it, I'm ready to move straight away. Can we sign a contract today type of thing? 15 minutes before she's due to knock on the door. She's got a flight over from London. 15 minutes before she's due to knock on the door, I get a message off of the gentleman that I'm renting for in the UK. And he said, I've changed management companies and they're basically saying that, first of all, they can't register you on the portal because you're not classed as a UK resident because I live on the Isle of Man. So I was like, right, okay. He said, so we're having problems there. He said, and the likes of people from Hong Kong and stuff like that, they pay 12 months up front. Are you in a position to do that? Now we're 3 weeks before we're due to move. Half the house is packed. I've sorted out transport to go. I'm literally just waiting to sign this tenancy agreement, which has been dragging for the past 2 weeks, you know what I mean, because I needed to sign a month before. Can you pay 12 months up front? And I was like, who has 20 to 25 grand sat in their bank? You know, some people do. I don't. Obviously, I was like, no. We've come to an agreement. You've agreed on this. You've done all your checks for your management company. Everything's come back okay. I'm literally waiting to sign a contract and we're moving in 3 weeks. So we came back going, oh, well, because I've changed management companies, I don't know what to do for the best and this, that and the other, right? And I'm like, the stress I fell under because I've been trying to sort Tayton out because Tayton's going to school in September. We're now, first week in 6 weeks holidays. I've still not managed to get him enrolled in the UK school because you need proof of address. I don't know what you want me to say. I said, you're going to have £4,200 of my money. Oh, and then the other thing was, he said, I think it's best that you pay up front for 12 months, but you sign a 6-month lease. You sign a 6-month lease to be reviewed in 6 months, and if it's not working out and we don't get on, we'll give you your money back. I said, do you honestly think I'm going to move my children over to a different country for 6 months, rent my own house out for a year, and then in 6 months' time you could go, sorry, it's not working, probably try and keep my money, and where am I going to go with my children and my dogs? Where are we going to go? You must think I'm absolutely batshit crazy to sign my own house over for a year and sign somewhere else for 6 months. I mean, common sense. So he was like, oh, okay, I understand. Sent me a couple of screenshots, and one of them was basically this new management company, and it said how much the finder's fee is, and talking about putting it on Rightmove and this, that and the other. And I thought, well, why would you be doing all that if you've already got a tenant lined up? And it said people from the likes of Hong Kong may pay up to 12 months in advance because they love the area. So I thought, you've seen dollar signs, you've seen pound signs, you're thinking, oh, you may get it, you may not, but there's people from other countries that will pay 12 months up front. And he thought, well, I'm going to see if this one can do it. 15 minutes before the lady was coming to have a proper view at the house and absolutely loves it and wants it, my head just fell off. So I'd messaged him back and I said, well, he goes, I'll get in touch with you. It's more to do with insurance and this, that and the other. It could cost me £11,000 if you decided I had to take you to court to get you out and this, that and the other. And I was like, right, well, over in the Isle of Man, section 21, after you've served a notice to quit, you can represent yourself for 125 quid. So I don't know why it's going to cost £11,000, but we don't have bailiffs over here. It's, it's different. So I've got glowing references. I own my own properties. I said, I've got glowing references from past landlords anyway. Is this an element of trust or what? And he was like, no, I just need to go back to them. And I said, well, can you let me know by the end of today? Because we're moving in 3 weeks and this is very stressful. I need to know how to navigate this. I didn't hear nothing from him all day. So I messaged him again about 4:45 and I was like, is there any updates? My head was like gone. I was like, is there any updates? Because we're meant to be moving in 3 weeks. Everything's pretty much secure. And he just read it and ignored it. And I just thought, how stressed I must be. I'm moving. You've just read it and ignored it. Very strange. So I sat with the kids and I was like, I can't trust this man. I can't trust him now, because if he can pull the rug underneath me 3 weeks before I move because he's got the offer of having, may have the offer. Someone may come along and offer him 12 months in advance. He wants a massive deposit off of me. He's changed management companies. He's saying that they're advising him to ask me for 12 months. But when I've read the email, it's saying that, some people will pay that. I thought, I don't trust this man. And Ella said, Ella knows I believe a lot in fate. And she said, do you think maybe, Mum, this isn't meant to be right now? She said, you had the property rented out and then you went away and viewed properties and they fell through. And then you found another property and the tenant moving in fell through. And now literally the day you're securing this property, that one's kind of fallen through. And I just said, I can't trust this man. I can't trust him. You know what I mean? I can't trust him. And there's no way on God's green earth I am signing a 6-month contract anyway. When my house is rented out for a year, it's just not going to happen. So anyway, I got my arse in the air and I thought, I'm going to be relying too much on this, on him. Things could change very, very quickly. I didn't feel secure in it. It didn't feel right. So I messaged him and I said, this is coming down to dollar signs. This is how I see it. And the way you've gone about this, when we're moving in a couple of weeks, you've kind of just read the message, not even bothered to say, you know, don't worry, I'm looking into it. To me, this comes down to greed, and this isn't somebody that I would want to work with in any capacity or be involved with in any capacity. So good luck with whatever money you're craving. I hope you find it, but I will not be moving into your property without feeling like I can trust you. And I did say the way he's gone about it is unprofessional. Who does that to a family, really? And I blocked him. This was on social media. I blocked him, left it at that. A few hours later, checking my emails, and I'd got this massive rant from this guy because I'd blocked him, basically saying that how dare I say it was about dollar signs, that just because I own properties doesn't I think that I'm entitled to live anywhere. It was like arguing with a boyfriend. It was quite a feminine rant, and I did tell him that. He was listing off all these things that I need to open my eyes, it's different in the UK. So I emailed him back, and I wasn't very nice. I said, you're an absolute cretin to be messaging me this immature and quite frankly farcical rant. You expect me to give you 12 months money on a 6-month lease, move my children, and he was banging on saying that I have to put my family first. And I said, if you have to put your family first, why would you agree to it in the first place? I said, I did my checks. You've got a dormant management company. You're expecting a massive deposit. Then you're expecting 12 months money on a 6-month lease, 3 weeks before we move. And because I've said that it's outlandish and I don't want to do it, you've then come up giving me a bit of a personal attack that I feel entitled. You contacted me on social media after seeing my advert and told me you had a place to rent. I didn't contact you. You contacted me. We've been speaking for a couple of months about the property. You were all fine and agreed to it. And then 3 weeks before we were due to move, you sprung this, and this is somehow my fault? I don't think so. I basically reeled off a list of things. It wasn't professional, it wasn't sort of ethical, and I couldn't trust him, and there's no way I'm going to move my kids doing that anyway. And blocked his emails. Then I get a WhatsApp that had been sent on the 10th of July. So about, I don't know, it must have been the week before or something. It said that he had appointed these people to manage his property. Asked me all the same questions that he'd already gone through, am I employed? How much do I earn? And in it said, the landlord said, you're happy to pay a certain amount of money up front, or for a certain amount of months, how much would you be willing to pay? And I thought, what? You're saying that I'm happy to pay a certain amount, yet he said to me that it had been recommended that I paid this certain amount through this first management company. And then underneath it said the property is $1,800 a month. The deposit is $2,076. So I'm like, so the rent is £1,800 a month, we know, but the deposit is $2,076. They always add on like an extra 50, 80 quid on your deposit over here. I don't know why, they just do. Or in the UK they do. They don't tend to do that on the Isle of Man. You pay 1 month's rent, 1 month's deposit, whereas in the UK they tend to add on 50, 80, £100, whatever on top of your rent as a deposit. So I thought, well, you're telling me it's $2,075 deposit, yet he's been telling me it's $4,200 deposit. That's what he wants to take off me. So I messaged this lady back and I said, just told her everything that I pretty much told you, but in a short version, a little paragraph. He's messed me about. He's told me he wants this much deposit. He said that you've told him to say that. He's now saying that he wants 12 months up front, and he's saying you said to do that. She'd come back to me and she was like, we haven't actually been formally instructed yet to do the property, so this is as far as it goes. And I was like, absolutely fine. So anyway, that was a couple of days later. So I've got this poor woman that is desperate to rent the house, and I've just told the guy across to go and stick it, basically. I thought, no, I'm going to take this into my own hands. It's just the type of person I am. And I thought, no, I can't trust you. And you're messing me about. No, it's not happening. So I sat the kids down and I said to the kids, one, I can't trust him, as we know. The renting is so hard in the way of, I'm going to be over there worrying about that property, because Ella is so clumsy, you know what I mean? She drops things all the time. What if she drops something on the carpet and he decides to keep £4,200 of my money? And then leaving this property in hands of people that, although they were lovely, who am I leaving my home to? And is it going to be all right? And, you know, what if a window gets smashed and I've got to find an extra £1,500 to get it fixed on top of my rent and this, that and the other? And I just thought, something in me, and I'm very much a believer in fate, as I say, something in me just said, sell it. Don't do it. Just sell. Because then you've got your own money. You can buy your own place. You haven't got to worry about this. It worked out. I was only going to be about £250 a month financially better off for renting this out anyway, because different things going on and stuff like that. So I would have been £250 a month better off for all that hassle, thinking, are we going to get kicked out in 6 months' time and I'm going to have nowhere to go with the kids and Ella's girlfriend and the dogs and everything. So I just said no. I said, we're going to put it up for sale. No regrets on getting rid of any of the furniture that I have, because I'm sick of grey. I don't even like this sofa anymore. I'd get rid of this as well if I could. Like, I want a completely different colour palette for their house. I've had estate agents round and it's been valued at a decent price, where I'm hoping to maybe hold out for the full asking price, where I could afford to buy a little something for me and the kids, downsize completely obviously, and maybe have enough over to buy a little something else to rent out, which obviously is very fortunate. And that's kind of the path I'd like to go, rather than go and spend all the money and buy this big grand house. And, you know, we don't need it, as long as it's got, I'd even go down to a 3-bed if needed, but I do like having a 4-bed in case people want to come over and stuff like that. I'm just going to sell this and buy in the UK, because we were going to go for a year, see how it goes. If we didn't like it, come back, blah 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 blah. If I can work it that I can buy over there, and then I would buy a property over here to rent out and let Mia manage it, then I could still go over there. I can't see us wanting to come back, but if we did want to come back, I would just do the same. I'd come back, live in the house that I bought over here and sell over there. So I just think that's the better option. So it's been so stressful, but I feel like I've made my mind up. I've got a couple of little jobs to do. I actually had a viewing yesterday. It's not on the market, like on the website or anything. The pictures haven't been took because there's a couple of things that I still need to do. Like, we had a problem with the roof that's been fixed and it made the attic window a little bit manky. I've got a bit of plasterboard over there that needs fixing. They're kind of like the two main things. Everything else is pretty good, and it is a beautiful, beautiful house. You know what I mean? It's very modern. It's 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms. I've got a sauna in the attic. It's marble floors. It's underfloor heating. You know, it's all white and grey other than Ella's room. It is a nice property, and I would hold out for a little while, but obviously we do want to go. I'm gutted that, in a way, well, I am gutted that we're not going, because I needed off this island by a certain time, and obviously Tatum for school and things like that. So I've had to just take a couple of weeks off. I haven't even took the time off because I've had estate agents round. I got 2 valuations. I had a viewing yesterday. They said, you know, someone's coming over, can they have a look? And I said, well, you know, there's still these bits that need fixing, but they can. And they fell in love with the house. However, they said it's a couple, they would only use 2 floors of it, so it was too big for them. So it is going to have to go on the market, yeah, which means that for now Tatum is going to have to start school here, which is, I've been on to, obviously you can't sort it through the 6 weeks holidays, so it's going to be nearer September to try and get him in. So these are choice of 2 schools, which one he wanted to go to. We've had all that, so I'm literally just taking a little bit of time to go, right, you've had so much stress since March time, really, when you fully decided to move, and the going away and the tenants and the me looking for places and renting this out. I just need a little breather, so I'm going to take a week or so, because it's a 6 weeks holiday, spend some time with Tatum, do some things with him, have some fun with him, and then get these little jobs done and get it on the market. We will see where we go from there. So yeah, this has been a very long rant, but I just wanted to keep you all in the loop. So hasn't worked out how I wanted it to. Middle of August was the perfect timing for us to go, for everything, for me, for the kids. Ella and her girlfriend are a little bit disappointed, but it's not that we're not going, it's just not going to be right now. And to be honest, when it happened, I just breathed a big sigh of relief. I felt like so much stress had gone off me. Thought, well, now I can sell, I can look around, I can buy my own. I'm not reliant on anybody else but myself, and because I'm a very independent person, don't like relying on anybody else but myself. So that's where we're at. We're here for the moment. I will actually give you a house tour at some point. I don't know if it'll be in this video, and you can see it's a lovely property if you know anyone that wants to move to the Isle of Man. It's a gorgeous house. I'm not in no rush now until after Christmas, really, because a sale over here can take up to 3 months, even if it's like, yes, we want it to go through the lawyers and everything. It can take 3 months. We're now in August, so I can see us being here for Christmas, which, yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? So I can concentrate on other things. I can concentrate on getting him into school and Christmas, really. So that's where we're at.